right, good morning, guys. So this week, there is no new stuff. There is nothing new going on being taught in class this week in terms of content. All we are focusing on this week is consolidating what you guys already know and being able to use the technology that you are probably going to need to use to do your SAT next week for remote learning. All right, so as you can see, I have a program behind me. It's called Desmos, and it is a wonderful graphics calculator style tool. It does some things better than your CAS calculators. It doesn't do some things that your CAS calculator can do. So what you will need to do is have this and your CAS calculator with you for when you do the actual SAT next week. All right, one of the important things to remember is that because I can't stop you looking at other things, it will be functionally open book. All right, but one of the things you need to realize is that the work we are going to ask you to do is very easy to authenticate to make sure that you aren't simply copying off someone else. All right, the idea will be that the task will magically appear on your compass at 10:30, and then it will close at 11:30. So you will need to download the task as soon as 10:30 rolls around. You will then need to make sure that you are finished and uploaded it before 11:30. And if you do not submit it by 11:30, you will not be able to submit it. And I think you know where I'm going to go after that.
So have you seen the task?
I wrote the task.
Nice. And do you think it's like doable in just an hour?
Yes. It is absolutely doable in just an hour.
Wait, but like, how can we do it on a piece of paper and then like take a photo and upload it, or does it have to be on the?
Yes. However, I would like for everyone, for my sanity and yours, to try and use this to help you. And I'm about to explain how to do that. All right? Because you are going to be required to sketch some graphs. Hey presto, use this. And answer questions about the graphs. Now, the thing is, the trick is that I am not giving you graphs to draw. I am not giving you, for example, draw this exact thing, draw this exact thing, draw this exact thing. You will be doing something creatively to create your own equations. There are restrictions based on what you can and can't do. However, the task is there. It's open-ended enough that you will be able to complete it, and I will very easily know if someone copies off you or you copy off someone else. All right, so what we've got here is Desmos, graphics calculator. What I've done here is I've drawn the Batman function. All right, it is a series of piecewise graphs that interconnect and intersect perfectly to draw the Batman logo. All right. Now this is in here is a lot of absolute functions, things like that. We're not too worried about that. You're not going to be able to duplicate something like that. I just thought it was really, really cool and I wanted to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new blank graph, and I'm going to start typing in some functions in here. So y equals, see down here, we press this button and we're going to bring up all our lovely little things here. Square root of x. Hey presto, I now have a square root of x. I can go in here and I can change it. Etc, etc, etc. Do funny things with it. But what I can also then do is add another one. we'll put in here y equals 3 over x. Gives me a nice hyperbola there. And I want to do, we'll do like a -3 style thing. But what if I wanted to create a piecewise graph using what I have up there? All right, so what I can now do is I can use the brackets like this and put in particular values. So for example, for my hyperbola here, I only want to draw parts of the graph where x is greater than 2. And if I close off my scribbly brackets there, as you can see, the graph now only draws after a particular value. Now, what if I wanted to do was draw between particular values? I could then do the same. And so if I draw between, I only want between 2 and 4. I only want between 2 and 4. I can now go up to the other part of my graph and then go, well, what if I only want from here, I want to go from 4 I only want to draw that. And what I can do is I can piece together a picture, or I piece together a function that can then meet the requirements that, for example, my SAT might ask you to do. So, for example, I might also ask you to do a semicircle. So I now have a function that all 3 parts connect with each other. And if I were to draw that using my CAS calculator, I could use the piecewise function to do it. So the idea would be, and the idea for the SAT is that you are going to create a set of functions that can be drawn with a piecewise function on your CAS calculator. But you can graphically represent it on Desmos as the different parts like this with restricted domains. But I should be able to then take your Desmos graph, put it into my CAS, and it should be one nice, perfectly connecting function. You are not allowed to have any gaps. All right, on my 3 functions here, there are no gaps. On the picture, no gaps. And then I would be expected to ask or be able to answer questions about domain, range, function notation, etc. Is that a question, Ali?
Yes. How do you know if it connects perfectly?
Well, then what you're going to have to do is, when you are constructing your parts, you would then need to look at where the graphs start and end and make sure that the starting point of part 2 is the same as the end point of part 1.
Okay.
All right, so I know that because of the way I drew it. Oh, look at that. There's a gap there. So what I need to do is I now need to figure out, well, I need to lower this down so that it overlaps nice and neatly with what's going on here. So that's... I've shot myself in the foot here, I think. But the idea would be I need to drag what's going on here. So that's, where is that at? That's at 4, negative 1 point. But the point is I'll need to lower this just a tiny little bit. And 8. Here we go, 9, 8. 8, 9. 8, 8, 7. There we go. Done. Perfect. Nice and connected. All right, so it is going to take a little bit of trial and error on your behalf. But the idea would be is that the functions that you create are going to be a little bit... They're not going to be this complicated. Believe me, they're not going to be this complicated. All right, hang on. So it's at negative 1.25. Okay. Oh, this is getting comical now. Yeah. So what I want you guys to do today is I simply want you to explore playing around with Desmos and seeing what the program can do. And as you can see, I'm getting really, really fun. I don't think I can zoom in anymore. I've literally hit maximum zoom. Yeah, I can't zoom anymore. That's close. I think we're done. But what we will do is we will then, over the next couple of lessons, I will show you techniques for how you can possibly manipulate these graphs so that you can create some contiguous pieces that aren't necessarily mucked up. Generally, anything involving square roots is going to be tricky. We'll leave it at that. All right, so there, I'm going to put up a link for an activity I want you guys to play with on Desmos to get you used to using Desmos and doing these piecewise restricted domain graphs. All right, and that is going to be involving the activity involving marbles. So I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to